Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. So, we did get a Netflix Avatar kind of short video today, starting up the marketing kind of hype cycle for this week, as we will basically we'll go from about 10 days to go today, we'll get later on in the week to exactly 1 week to go, and then next week is the week it comes out. So, things are getting pretty exciting here overall. So we also have the Iroh RPG book pre-order information that has gone live. So I'll go through that after the Netflix Avatar info. So we'll start off with this new video here. As you can see here, I posted on Twitter. 24 seconds. It is basically about Zuko. It definitely goes with the previous Zuko video, where in that one he kind of talked specifically about kind of capturing the Avatar for the Fire Nation. In this one, it's Zuko more talking about the Avatar specifically. He says, "I will capture the Avatar," but it's talking about the cycle that the Avatar is the only one who is born with all four elements and the ability to bend them all. There's not really that many new shots. The only new shot that I could see is that we get this very, very interesting shot of Zuko's figurine collection, basically small statue collection. He is an Avatar merch collector, literally, where he seems to have figurines or statues of past Avatars, and they glow. And my takeaway from this, realistically, is that is this how he is alerted to Aang coming out of the ice? That the big light from the iceberg being burst open, Aang's return, lights up the statues across the world. And because he has these kind of collectible statues here, he sees it inside. He rushes outside. And is that when we get the shot from the behind the scenes trailer where he goes outside and sees the light on his ship? Or is this how he sees a secondary scene happening? It's kind of hard to say for sure, but I'm guessing he probably sees it inside, because, why would he just randomly be out on the deck of the ship? He's in here writing his journal about, I'm this long into my journey, this is why I need to capture the Avatar, and then all of a sudden, it's time. I think that makes a lot of sense. But the details of this, I think, are quite interesting here, because obviously, actually, it's this shot here that's up first. So I'm guessing this is meant to be some sort of a Karuk-like avatar, or at least one of the avatars who has some sort of kind of an animal skin over their head type thing. That eye is glowing there. I think it's probably meant to be the kind of Karuk stand-in. Very clearly, Kyoshi is over here with the fans. Very recognizable. This is very clearly an air nomad avatar, because you can see the blue arrow, eyes lighting up. There's bits of like the classic air nomad colors in here with the kind of oranges and kind of yellows, but not really sure what to make of that one. Scrolling up to some past information, I'm wondering, like, is that maybe this avatar here? Something like that, just a different depiction of them in this kind of statue form. It's an interesting look, for sure. I don't really know what specifically to make of that. But then we scroll up the shelf and we see what I'm guessing is Yang Chen. And I'm assuming somewhere here there is some sort of a Roku depiction also. I'd be surprised if there wasn't a Roku. I'm wondering, is that the one like right here? But still, it is an interesting thing to kind of get across this idea that, like, we talked and joked a little bit about, like, oh, Zuko's writing a journal about hunting the Avatar. He has this whole almost conspiracy theory board with all this like evidence about past Avatars. He's really researching into the past Avatars to find out anything about it, because obviously the search hasn't been going well. So it would make sense that he would go into the past. And now this is obviously linking into this idea that I guess they're playing up the idea that a accurate depiction of a Avatar has an inherent connection with like a big spiritual moment for the Avatar. I think it's a bit of a weird mechanic that it potentially is even these small little figurine kind of style statues that glow, as well as maybe the big ones that we've seen in trailers, like Kyoshi's, what we expect to see for a Roku statue. I'm pretty sure we've seen a Karuk statue already in previous footage. That's a little bit of an interesting one, just to see like oh wow, like you just like a depiction, like are these made in a specific way that makes them glow in tandem with the avatar state, or I'd like to know if there's any kind of details surrounding that. But as people have been pointing out, there seems to be some sort of, they're going for some sort of idea where like an avatar can connect with a depiction of a past avatar, a statue, to make some sort of a connection. We'll see exactly how it goes in the show in terms of how automatic it is, how natural it feels. It's interesting. I don't have like too many comments really either way on it, but cool extra shot to see, and you know, interesting to see what people have to say about this particular past avatar, or at least depiction of a past avatar. It's obviously accurate to some degree since it's glowing along with the others, so that's somewhat interesting to note. But yeah, other than that, there was a small trailer that we got last week, Thursday, after my last video. They released this one after the big 4-minute video, so very much surprising us with the kind of cadence of these releases. But this is just a very quick scene of the gang kind of running away. They dodge some fireballs, hop off a cliff, and flee on Appa. Not too much to say about it, just a quick scene for 2 weeks to go. And I think we're definitely going to get something for 1 week to go. And I'm assuming that because they've done a post today, we'll get one tomorrow, we'll get one Wednesday, and we will for sure get one on Thursday, which marks 1 week to go. Will they just post something every day up until launch, or will they, like they've kind of done for the past little bit, like skip over the weekend and then start up again next kind of Monday in the build up to the Thursday launch? We have to wait and see. My thing is just like, I wonder how much more they really have to show in terms of like, will it just be small clips until launch, or are we maybe going to get like a full scene at some point? Will they just drop maybe with a week to go? Here's a full minute and a half long scene from early on in the show, just to give you a better sense for what's going on. Will they tell us anything about the Northern Water Tribe characters, or is that deemed spoilers and they don't want to go into it? That's the stuff that will be interesting to see overall. Otherwise, like it's just been a few extra behind the scenes posts. Like Albert Kim posted this about the kind of color tests for the kind of arrow tattoos and stuff like that. So, you know, some interesting stuff, but there's not too much, I think, to really say there. But I think the main news probably for this one is the this information here. So the pre-order for Uncle Iroh's Adventure Guide is now live. So here's the Kickstarter post where they go through all of the information. This is the book itself, Uncle Iroh's Adventure Guide, the second adventure guide after the Wan Shi Tong Adventure Guide. It's made up of 5 adventures, 1 in each era. The mechanics to connect all of these adventures together into like a cross-generational 5 adventure story. There's going to be 10 NPC legends, as we'll see on the product listing. And of course, Jasmine Island, the new location, is going to be the main kind of focus. That's why it's themed around Iroh. That's the location in the background here. Jasmine Island is going to be released in fall 2024. And the offer to go along with the pre-order is that if you pre-order before we enter March, so in the rest of February, if you pre-order the book, you can get the Appa dice tray here for free instead of $20 by using the offer code Jasmine. Now again, specifically how you do that is that you do have to add both of these products to your cart, then apply the code. That will get rid of the price of the Appa dice tray, which is $20 normally. It's not the case that the code puts the free thing into your cart. So just be aware that that is the sequence you have to do to get the discount. Here is the order page basically that they bring up about the book. Pre-orders are going to close April 12th, 2024. So do note that. I think quite a few people got caught out with the Korra book thinking that, oh, I can just pre-order it whenever. But actually, after April, there's going to be a couple of months where you won't be able to order the book. And realistically, a lot of people are probably going to have their PDFs in or around this date, and you won't have a way to order it until a few months later when they're talking about the main release. So if you do want this material as soon as possible, you probably should pre-order it before April 12th, and realistically before the end of the month, so you can get the free Appa dice tray. So $40 for the main book. I was maybe expecting $35, but it's not crazy, I suppose, overpriced, because they are nice big hardcover books, full color, printed pretty nicely. The dice tray is going for $20 if you don't get the offer, and then there are offers for the Iroh book along with all of the other main books and the extras if you haven't got any of the stuff so far. The pre-order FAQ section is quite interesting because it gives you information that they don't really say elsewhere. So of course, the physical stuff is going to be last. We'll have the material long before the actual physical books get into our hands. That's going to be in fall 2024. Before that, the PDF is what we'll get first. And they basically say here that basically as soon as the PDF is done, you will have access to it. Because already the second you pre-order it, I've done it myself, they basically give you a link that allows you to effectively order the PDF of the Iroh book on DriveThruRPG, and instead of the placeholder file that's there right now, it'll change to the main file. They'll alert you of that pretty soon. I'm guessing this will be in the coming months. It won't be like super long time, because they're saying that phase 2 is the digital products launch, and that's summer. So that's kind of suggesting very early summer or before summer we'll actually have the PDF for the Demiplane Nexus unlock, of course, because if you buy the physical book, you get the digital copy. That's the main thing. And yeah, fall for the physical stuff. So that's that. There's the product page for the dice tray. Again, you do have to add it to your cart, and then the offer code takes the price off. And here is the actual Iroh book itself. So the main thing to talk about here, this is just the general description we've had for a while. This is a lot more interesting though. So Uncle Iroh invites you to explore this new corner of the Avatarverse with exciting adventures on Jasmine Island spanning across all 5 eras. You may work with Lu Ten to protect the island during the 100-Year War era, help Iroh with a White Lotus mission in the Aang era, or defy corporations seeking to usurp precious resources from the island in Korra's era. 4 character playbooks, so archetypes to play as, 5 adventures, 1 in each era, of course. They confirm here 10 NPC legends, including Lu Ten, Piandao. Yes, the name is spelled incorrectly there. It should be D-A-O. But yeah, it is Piandao as far as I'm aware. And Toph Bei Fong, each able to teach special techniques. And then this last point is actually quite interesting as well. Expanded material for exploring Jasmine Island, a fleshed out new location beloved by Uncle Iroh for its tea and connection to his son. So there's some sort of connection between Lu Ten and the island that relates to Iroh. And I'm wondering, does this mean that we will actually go into stuff in depth about Lu Ten? Because obviously we're going to get an NPC bio for him. We'll learn some stuff about Lu Ten. But like, is this maybe suggesting that, like, will we go as far as to finally maybe learn who his mother is or something like that? That's information we're always trying to figure out and see what they actually deliver on. But yeah, 10 NPC legends, more than I expected. Now, we seem to know roughly that there's what a few of the other ones are going to be. So they confirm 3 here, but they also basically confirm 3 in the Polygon article when they initially announced this product. So Iroh is in the core book, General Iroh. And they're saying that Uncle Iroh here will be here. So we'll get post-war Aang era Uncle Iroh as a legend NPC. And also full write-ups for Princess Zaysan and her betrothed monk Khandro. Now, what's weird about this is that we already have Princess Zaysan's legend NPC from an urgent request. So I'm wondering, are they just going to repeat this again in a main book for the first time instead of a random adventure? Do note, though, that you can buy an urgent request on DriveThruRPG. It's like $3, so it's not exclusive anymore. So I wonder what the situation there, like, is. Does that mean we're getting a Zaison NPC, or just that the Roku era story is going to be about Zaison and Kandro? Kandro will probably be a Roku era NPC. That would make sense. But I would like to see other Roku era characters and not just get Zaison again, because we do already have her. So there seems to be potentially 3 other characters, and then who knows who else they're going to do. Because if you do look at the list of characters that we have, like, the Kyoshi era is very lacking in characters. We only have Kyoshi and Rangi, and because it's set after Shadow of Kyoshi, that would suggest that they're not doing the obvious characters like Yoon, Jeonju, or Kelsang. So who's it going to be? Firelord Zoryu, Kirima, Wong, Lao Ge, I think, would be a good option, because he's a very interesting character who I think people would like to see an official art of and more information on. But I don't know what to make of it, because they don't directly confirm there's going to be a Kyoshi era NPC. But because there is a Kyoshi era story, an adventure, I'm assuming there's going to be at least one new Kyoshi character that we actually get an NPC details on. The Roku era, it could be as simple as just Zaison and Kandro, but Zaison, like I said, we already had. If not him, then who? In addition to Roku Takukak, Sud would be interesting. We have his waterbending master, so why not his earthbending master? Sister Ryoshan would relate to the story of these 2 characters quite well. Sozin even, I think, would be a decent character to do, but they tend to not want to do the villains overly here as NPC legends too much. But, you know, they've done it a few times, like Azula Longfeng, but, you know, we'll see what happens. 100-Year War era, they're doing Lu Ten, which is expanding out the 100-Year War era, but who else are they going to do? Piandao could be in the 100-Year War era, but I don't really know. I'm assuming, because they say that the Aang era one is a White Lotus mission, that the NPC for that mission is probably Piandao, because Iroh seems to be more of a general NPC for this whole book related to Jasmine Island. So that's kind of interesting to see how exactly that goes. Like, who else will they do in this era? Because we have General Iroh, we have Longfeng, Lu Ten, and who? Like, obviously, we don't really have, like, a lot of other characters. Like, might they do Gyatso? I think Gyatso would actually be pretty good to do here. Oh, wait, no, they can't do Gyatso, because that would be, like, the start of the war, and that's basically when he dies. So this is where it gets kind of tricky, because you can't do airbender characters. Water tribe characters of note in the 100-Year War era. I don't know, like Arnuk. Did they do Paku in this era? But he's probably better off being done in the Aang era if they do him ever. I wonder, is there that much room left for who the 100-Year War era characters actually are? But there's that. Aang era, it seems clear they're doing another Iroh and Piandao. And the other characters, like Mei, is probably the really obvious one that they also need to do here. Otherwise, Korra era, they're doing Toph, so they've obviously done Toph here. This is obviously going to be older Toph, as we see in Korra. But who else? Jinora is probably the obvious, like, standout character they kind of haven't done, but I'm assuming they might save her for the Spirit World book, which will also have legend NPCs. So who else that might relate to a corporation plot story? Because Toph could be the NPC for that one, so the other character might not be related. It's kind of hard to tell exactly who it's going to be, but especially for the older eras, I'm very intrigued to see what characters they actually choose. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, we're going to get some really interesting stuff with Lu Ten on the island. The White Lotus mission could be interesting. It depends what it's about. Who knows about this? The Roku era story, obviously, like I said, relates, it seems like, to Kandro and Zaison, at least to some degree. We'll see what it is. And then notably, it leaves us with nothing to speculate on about what's going on in the Kyoshi era. One thing you could do, because of the way they're doing Lu Ten, who technically is dead during the 100-Year War era as it's written in the core book. His death has already happened. It's talked about in the material. They're opening it up to being slightly before then. If they did the same thing for the Kyoshi era, Yoon would be, I think, a good NPC character to do. like Avatar Yoon, basically. What if he's doing something on Jasmine Island, like before the books start? That would be cool. That would open the door to bringing some of the other characters into play who we kind of like to see. Get some new art as well. But yeah, that's all that sort of stuff there. So I think that's pretty much everything I want to say here. Oh, actually, yes. I should mention Piandao. Why is him getting an NPC legend so interesting? It's basically because of this lost lore with Piandao. A lot of people I don't think know about this in particular, but this is from the old Nickelodeon website, now archived on this Tumblr page, but this is what the old website used to say about Piandao. None of this stuff is referenced like anywhere else, which makes me wonder, will his legend NPC bio address this stuff like pretty exactly? Will it adjust it at all? Will it retcon some of this stuff? Because we don't know a lot about him outside of this bio. So some of the coolest stuff with this is obviously that he's born to 2 firebender parents. They were ashamed that their only son wasn't a bender, and they left him at an orphanage. So he grew up nervous and agitated, but he showed interest in the arts and calligraphy. He attended the Fire Nation Boys Camp, where his talent with the sword was recognized, and you get some interesting stuff building up to this crazy battle where he apparently defeated 100 soldiers, and that's why he isn't bothered by the Fire Nation army since. So that's the kind of legend of Piandao that hasn't been addressed kind of elsewhere. So his legend NPC stuff should hopefully include some of that material, or maybe some of that material updated with whatever the modern plans are for the character, that sort of stuff. But you know, it seems really interesting. I hope there's a good amount of new information in the book, because you know, for what it is, it's a reasonably expensive book, especially if you go for the physical edition. So I hope it's kind of worth the money, and they actually deliver with like Luten, Piandao, as well as some of the hopeful characters they also include. So yeah, in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on the new Zuko clip here, with him and his Avatar figures and his amazing merch collection, as well as some of the other little bits and pieces that have happened. What are your thoughts on how the marketing is going to be in the coming kind of days, with not too long to go at all? We're in the final 10 countdown now at this point. And then the Uncle Iroh Adventure Guide. What are your thoughts on this now that we have a little bit more information on it? Are you going to pre-order it? What are your expectations for like the characters and new information? But otherwise, that's been the video. So thanks for watching, and bye.